Shall we start? Okay, so I guess we're live now. Okay, so Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. Very good noon to everyone, and I hope that you all are staying at home, washing your hands. And yes, this is your host Nahian Shejuti, and welcome to our very first live session, which is Get Set Go Campus to Corporate. So as we all know that the corporate world is a formal place where actually work counts more than anything else. So hence maintaining to a professional attitude will help us to cope. So learning to behave professionally, it can't be learned in 1 or 2 days. I mean, it's a gradual process, and in each and every minute we have to learn that how to be professional. So generally there is a question comes that what are the challenges and opportunities that the corporate life throws at us, right? So to end this dilemma and confusion about corporate world and all the insights about this field, I think that our today's session is all about this. And today we have an expert with us who is Mr. Mirza Salman Hossain Beg, who is the Vice President and Head of Innovation of Telenor, and also a TEDx organizer, alongside being a startup investor and a digital content creator. And he's also a former Deputy Director of Grameenphone. A very warm welcome to our live session, Bhaiya.
Thanks for having me, Nahian.
So I hope that this will be a great session. So I think that I should not blabber much, and I think that we should start our first segment, which is about students' choice. So there are so many questions we have, actually the students have. So this segment is all about that. So the very first question is that, I mean, there are students, I mean, not only in the corporate world. As a human being, we have fear of rejection in our life. So there can be so many reasons out there. So my question to you is that how did you overcome the fear of rejection and took it as a part of your life? Up to you, Bhay.
Sure. Thanks, Nahian. And Assalamu alaikum to everyone, whoever is joining from whatever the place. I hope you're all doing well, and everybody at home is also doing well. And again, thank you so much for to Brack University for having me to be part of this session. I'm really excited. So going back to what Nahian was asking, I think যখনই আমাদের we are talking about the question about the fear of rejection. I think this is not a unique thing to certain people only. Certain group of people only have this fear of rejection. It's something that even the most successful people, the successful businessman, successful celebrity, তাদেরকে বাইরে থেকে দেখলে হয়তো মনে হয় যে that person is really super confident and extremely high esteem, but they actually rather have a lot of challenges that they go through on a daily basis. So it's all about, I want to just first step হচ্ছে গিয়ে যে আমরা যদি রিজেকশনটাকে মনে করি is a challenge or is a problem in life, তখন no matter what, whenever the rejection will come to our life, we'll automatically think that, okay, so this is a problem to us. And I can give an example, Jay, why am I talking about how to label rejection first. So think about an insect or any সাপ পোকামাকড় যা আছে আমাদের অনেক ফোবিয়া আছে. So let's say একটা মাকড় হতে পারে, একটা সাপ হতে পারে, একটা বাঘ হতে পারে, whatever. Now we all have some fears. Now those fears are again sometimes are based on certain past experience or certain lack of understanding of that particular creature or that particular what may happen in the event you actually face them. So we have, before even meeting them, without even seeing a spider in your life in person, even if you see it in the TV, sometimes some people get scared. So what they're actually doing, before even trying to evaluate what spider is, they're actually putting a label. And in the back of their mind, they're creating a name for it. So whenever they see a spider, the name comes first because they have no experience of seeing a spider like a tarantula in front of them as big as it can be and so scary, right? So we create the fear based on how we label it. And then after we label it, we keep repeating it to our head that, okay, so this is fear, this is fear, this is fear. So imagine you are in your school days. And I know even in school days, like before university, you have a lot of rejections as well. But let's assume that you are in the university and you're a student now. Now, what exactly is your fear of rejection? You're constantly fearing that আমার একটা পরীক্ষায় ভালো গ্রেড করলে না করলে আমার ইউনিভার্সিটি ফ্যাকাল্টি আমাকে রিজেক্ট করবে ফর ফিউচার অপরচুনিটি, or আমার ওভারঅল সিজিপিএ কমে গেলে আমি একটা চাকরি পাচ্ছি না, আমি একটা ক্লাসে ভালো করে কোনো কিছু না বলতে পারলে অন্য একটা ক্লাসমেট আমাকে হয়তো অ্যাপ্রিসিয়েট করবে না বা আমাকে ভ্যালু করবে না. These are all rejections, and then there are so many other real life rejections. But আমরা যেটা ভুল করি, যেটা বলছিলাম যে লেবেলিং, যে if we simply think of rejection as a way of an experience, then you can completely switch the idea of rejection into an absolute experience in life. And then to give a simple example to that is that if somebody says that আমার জীবনে আমি বারবার রিজেক্টেড হয়েছি এবং আমার জীবনে আমি and that is my biggest fear in life and this is a big failure for me. So for that person, he or she is establishing rejection as a negative aspect of his or her life. But when I say rejection, I say, I have so many rejections that I can't wait to talk about. I would love to share about my rejections because in every time I failed, I knew one ways not to fail. I knew maybe 10 other ways that I could actually even think about, doing something যেটা যে এক্সপিরিয়েন্স করে নাই তার একদমই কোনো আইডিয়াই নাই যেটা আসলে কেমন সম্ভব. সো লেটস সে আমি সাঁতার কাটতে চাই and I have a fear of drowning. সবার অনেকেই সাঁতারের ফিয়ার আছে, বাট somebody who was in the water and tried to swim and drowned or sort of somehow drowned and came back to the surface for 10-20 times, that person is going to survive more, has a likely chance of surviving in the future than somebody যে পানি থেকে দূর থেকে দেখে মনে করছে যে okay, so I actually have the pani is what I fear, it is my biggest fear of life, if I ever am in the water I'm going to die. So that person is going to be the first one to die. So my first advice would be stop taking rejection or labeling it as a fear. Start calling it as an experience. And then you will actually see at the end of your 4 year of university, instead of when you'll be asked to create your resume or your CV, you'll see you have so many, not rejections, but so many experiences that you can talk about. In an interview, you can make a joke about a rejection that you had and how amazing was an experience for you. So just by changing the optic, you can change so much about yourself. Because যেটা বলেছি শুরুতে একদম যে we all will have rejections, even if you're successful, even if you're the most amazing people in the world, even if you have all the best support around you, you still get rejected. So it's better to learn to deal with it first than to fear of it. Yeah, fear from it. Yeah. Nahian.
Yeah, so that was really wonderful from you, Bhaiya. I mean, yes, I love the way that you say that learn to learn something from your rejection. I mean, yes, and take it as an experience. And there is a quote that we have learned from, like, আমরা অনেক ছোটবেলা থেকে এটা শিখেছি যে failure is the pillar of success. So এই জিনিসটা is a very basic minimal code. I mean, everyone knows that, but ওটাকে আমরা depth হিসেবে বা ওভাবে আমরা চিন্তা করিনি. So yeah, that's very nice to hear from you. So I think we can go to our next question. So there are some skills, I mean, that is needed to if someone want to enter into the corporate world. We call them soft skills. So what are the soft skills that students need to learn so that they can have a better understanding and insights about the corporate world? This is the next question to you, Bhaya.
I think there is no end to the type of or number of soft skills you can learn, and I cannot sort of emphasize enough that there are soft skill. Sometimes it's purely interpersonal skill, it's a human skill, but I mean soft skill take আমি একটু expand করবো যে not only soft skills but you also need to have a lot of understanding of having certain software skills. And I think we are working in a very in a world where everything is technology, everything is IT. If there's no technology or IT in a company, that company is going to be out of business very soon. So you also need to think about what are the other software skills I need to learn. So I mean, really, some of the basic skills before even you graduate, things if you know, it's probably going to change your sort of overall success story much better. Is the number one is you need whether you are an engineering student, whether you are a business student, whether you are English major or like a humanities, you're studying in the humanities, it doesn't really matter. You need to be able to learn to sell well. Now, when I'm saying sell, I'm not talking about become a person who just simply goes and sell himself. I'm not talking about personal branding. I'm not a big fan of personal branding either. What I'm talking about, learn how to communicate in a way that's convincing, that's powerful, that also something that people can retain from you. And as a result of your communication, people will be able to actually make a very strong decision, whether it's about choosing to get into a job or running to do a thing in life that they want to build for themselves, or starting a company or buying your product. So, and this sales skill is going to be a life-changing for you, whether in your personal life or in your professional life. So before you graduate, the first skill you need to master as a student is to learn to be a great salesman. You need to be able to learn to talk about yourself confidently, and that's part of sales. You need to be able to communicate your strengths properly. That's also part of sales. You need to be able to speak in the language you talk most eloquently as possible. Even if it's in Bangla, আমি অনেকের সাথে বাংলায় কথা বলি যে ওরা বাংলায় কথা বলতে গেলে অনেক অনেক আঞ্চলিকতা চলে আসে, বা বাংলার মধ্যে অনেক ভুল থাকে, বা বাংলায় নিজে বলছে আমি বাংলা মিডিয়াম থেকে এসেছি বা বাংলা ভাষায় কথা বলতে চাই, কিন্তু তারপরও দেখছে যে ওরা বাংলা একটা পুরো সেন্টেন্স সুন্দর করে কনস্ট্রাক্ট করতে পারছে না, বা সেই সেন্টেন্সটার মধ্যে মনে হচ্ছে যে অনেক কিছু গ্যাপ রয়ে গেছে, বা কনফিডেন্স নাই যে আমি বাংলা নিজের ভাষায় বলছি যেটার মধ্যে কমিউনিকেশন আমার ইস্যুস আছে। সো দ্যাট সেলস, এন্ড সেলস অনেকগুলো জিনিস একসঙ্গে কভার করে ফেলছে। দ্য সেকেন্ড স্কিল আই উড সে ইজ, যেটা আমাদের কখনো হয়তো আমি জানি না ইউনিভার্সিটিতে কতটুকু বলা হয়, বাট এটা কোনো বইয়ের মধ্যে অতটা ডিরেক্টলি ইউনিভার্সিটিতে বলা হবে না, কোর্স ওয়ার্ক, বাট ইউ নিড টু লার্ন। আমরা সবাই চিন্তা করি যে আমাদের গোল হচ্ছে গিয়ে যে আমাকে যেটা বলবে আমি সেটাই করবো এবং আই উইল বি এ গ্রেট এক্সিকিউটর। বাট দ্য প্রবলেম ইজ দেয়ার আর লট অফ পিপল হু অ্যাকচুয়ালি ক্যান এক্সিকিউট, যখন তাদেরকে বলা হয় কি করতে হবে। You need to be able to also learn to be having a growth mindset. Growth mindset অনেক বলা হয়ে গেছে, অনেক 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 ভাবে ইউজ করেছে, but what people don't understand, a growth mindset is not an activity. Sorry, it's not a fixed concept, it's an activity. You need to be constantly playing the role of a growth mindset person, a growth oriented person, meaning you are never stop learning to learn new things. You're never stopping to acquire something that you learned before, but it's no longer valuable, it's obsolete now, and you need to unlearn that. I need to learn something for the first time or for the second time as a new subject. So please make sure that you are really putting that energy and time to say how many things that I'm learning new today, this semester, this year, this quarter. That's extremely important. Third যেটা আমি বলবো সেটা হচ্ছে গিয়ে that আমরা সবসময় বলি leadership is a very important thing, but what often we misunderstand about leadership is that you are thinking leadership as a position, যে আমার একটা আমি চাকরি করলে আমার একটা পজিশন হবে, পজিশন হলে আমার একটা ম্যানেজার হব, ম্যানেজার হলে আমার একটা অথরিটি হবে, and then based on that I will start being a leader. But leadership is not a position, it's not an authority. Leadership is an activity, so you need to be able to speak as if it's part of an activity. You need to be able to lead people as part of an activity, and it doesn't matter whether you have an authority or not, whether you're a manager or not. You need to practice leadership in life, whether you lead your own life, whether you lead someone else's life, you help someone get some work done. It's all part of leadership. So be a leader before even you are labeled as a leader by the organizations. The next thing I will talk about is you also need to be able to learn to be a great communicator. যেটা আমি already বলেছি sales এর মধ্যে, but I want to re-emphasize. Even if you are a great engineer, a great businessman, or even if you are a great writer, for example, but if you don't know how to communicate well, and in a way that actually helps people understand what you're trying to say, then the world is full of chaos. There's so much noise all around us that we'll not be able to understand what you are talking about, because you're just noise to me as well if your communication is not clear enough. So you really need to be able to make a lot of effort into communication. And when I'm talking about communication, what I'm actually referring is that please learn to speak and write good English. It is so important that English should not be a second choice anymore. English cannot be যে আমি আচ্ছা sort of দু একটা ইংলিশ বলতে পারি তাহলেই চলবে না। বাংলাদেশের একটা সবচেয়ে বড় সমস্যা হচ্ছে গিয়ে যে আমরা আমাদের বাংলাটাও ভালো বলতে পারি না, আর ইংলিশটাও তো আরো পারি না। If there's one skill আমি যদি বলি যেটাকে সবচেয়ে বেশি প্রায়োরিটি করবো after sales, it's English. If you know English and if you're great in English, both in writing and reading and speaking, you will become way better automatically in life, in a personal and professional life, than anybody else. And I can put my money on this. So please learn good English. যা শেখার ওই Facebook, Instagram, TikTok বন্ধ করে, you should learn how to speak in English. And that's extremely, extremely important. And the last one I would যেটা বলবো, যেটা হচ্ছে গিয়ে অনেক জায়গায় হয়তো কেউ হয়তো বলেও না, সেটা হচ্ছে গিয়ে the power of being a kind, honest human being. আমাদের সমাজে আমাদের সবসময় মনে করি যে আমাদের যখন আমরা ইয়াং তখন আমাদেরকে সবসময় খুব বেশি অ্যাগ্রেসিভ হতে হবে, আমাদের মার কাট হতে হবে, আমাদেরকে সবকিছু ভেঙে চুরে ফেলতে হবে। But no, nobody told you to do that. Well, society tells you to do that sometimes, but they're misguiding you. What they don't tell you is that be a good human being, be kind to others, always help people. My secret to life is actually I'm always constantly looking for opportunities. আজকে আমি কাকে হেল্প করতে পারি। আমার যে আজকের সেশনটা হচ্ছে, for example, this is my volunteering hours giving to you guys, because I feel if I can help one person in this room today, then that one person's help will help me sometime in the future. Not that person, but maybe in life when I will need a good luck, when I will need a good blessing, something's going to happen to me. So I'm a big believer of that. And I would like you to think that forget all those, things that you hear often on YouTube or in other, videos you watch about, you have to be aggressive, you have to, be the number first always, you have to race. Stop racing always. Take a step back and be a good human being and be kind to others. It's just going to make life so great that, you yourself will be extremely complete before you even think of yourself. So I actually have a long list of like 13, 15 skills that I highly recommend that anybody should learn now. So if any one of you haven't watched my YouTube channel yet, you can go to my YouTube channel, and I have actually a video of some 13 or 15 skills that I highly recommend for you guys to learn this year while you are a student. So go ahead and watch the video, and that will clarify the rest of the skills that I highly emphasize as well.
Okay, so thank you very much, Bhaiya. That was so nice. So I was actually summarizing all the 6 facts that you said, that to be a good salesman, to have a growth mindset, to look at leadership as an activity, not as a position, then learning to be a great communicator and learning English properly, and then lastly what you said, which is very important, that we have to be kind, yes, not to be aggressive. So yeah, that was really wonderful. I hope the people who are watching us right now, they can gain something from this. So now, up to our next question. I mean, there are some. This question is about. I mean, after passing graduate or after doing graduation, and so many people are actually confused or they baffle a lot that which job sector they should go, or they should do internship, or they should go for corporate approach. So my question to you is. Bhaiya, that how to look for those opportunities after graduation, like it can be in the job sector, internships, or corporate approach.
So I think there is no one solution to this, and I don't think whatever that I would say, I would recommend anyone to follow this exactly the way it is. But you can take it as a guiding principle, and that I followed, and then it really worked out for me. So first of all, আমরা যখন গ্র্যাজুয়েটের পরে we're looking for job opportunities. Most of us are only thinking যে আচ্ছা আমাকে একটা চাকরি পেতে হবে, চাকরি পেলে আমার একটা income হবে, income হলে I will become independent, and then I will have my I'll get married, I'll have buy a house, buy a car, and blah blah blah, whatever that society told you to do. But that is actually not a vision, that is not a purpose of your career. Your purpose of your career is much different than just only doing those things, because those are an outcome as a byproduct of what happens when you select your career. So what I did, as an example, and I think we'll open question answer after this answer. So Ami Amar life had a very clear plan as to what I wanted to do during my 20s, what I wanted to do during my 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s onward. So in my 20s, I had a very simple goal. I took 20s. Those of you who want to, who understand cricket, in cricket there's something called slog over. Slog over হচ্ছে কি যখন the batsmanরা they try to hit as much as possible. It is those overs during the entire game যখন the goal is to get as many score as possible in the scoreboard, so that later on when you are actually at the end of the game you actually have more run rate than you need, meaning you're trying to make more progress, you're trying to accelerate your progress very early on, so that you yourself will be staying ahead in the game. So the way I took my 20s is that 20s were my slog years of my life. I made sure that in my entire 20s, from being a student to being a graduate, I slogged as hard as possible, meaning I looked for opportunities to learn. I never looked for money, I never looked for title, I never looked for the company, the brand, I never cared. I asked myself the question, is this job's going to teach me something? Is this person's going to be my mentor? Is this person help me grow and become a better version of myself? Anywhere and everywhere I found those opportunities, I was selfish to go after those and get them. So that at the end of my 20s, I will have so much of a strong foundation, and it's going to help me do much better and to live a more steady life in my future. So that's my 20s goal. And I can give one quick advice here before we open for question answers on this, is that our goal chilo I never cared about the company, as I mentioned. And what it means is that সবাই একটা বড় ব্র্যান্ডে চাকরি করতে চায়, মনে করে আমার এই বড় ব্র্যান্ড না হলে সমাজ কি বলবে, লোকে কি বলবে, বাসায় কি বলবো, আমার বিয়ে শাদী হবে কিনা. No, that's not true at all. I don't come from a top university, I don't come from a top school, I didn't have good grades at all. And yet I didn't, and I also worked for companies. Those are not considered anywhere close to the obvious choices of someone after graduation. But it was those experiences that built me to become the person I'm today. So when I was in my 20s, my simple guiding principle was that I always wanted to work for a person, not for the company. It is the person I got hired by, and also the person who is actually eventually becoming my mentor. And it is that person who helps me become a better person and a great executioner or a great learner than a company. একটা company, একটা junior level মানুষকে অতটুকু groom করার মতো capacity থাকে না, because you're so small in the organization that nobody has time for you except the person who you're reporting to. So choose the person, not the company. So I'll end there before we open up for more questions.
Yeah, so exactly. We have to choose the person, not the company. Uh, so, meanwhile, this session, I mean, the segment one was actually you were saying something, that so many questions have been arrived. So, I think that we can go for the questions now. So the very first question that we can see on the screen, that does CGPA matter that much before entering to the corporate world or the overall experience in student life?
The short answer is no. At least I can give you my example. My CGPA never mattered. Nobody in my entire career ever asked আমার CGPA কত. Even আমার resume-তে আমি কখনো আমার CGPA লিখতাম না. I never cared. I maybe mentioned once, but পর থেকে আমি লেখা বন্ধ করে দিয়েছি because it never mattered. Hey, maybe if you have a CGPA 4 or 4, maybe mention it because you want to talk about it. But if somebody writes CGPA 4 or 4 in an interview, I am extremely hard on them because I want to know what exactly, why are they so great? Is it just because they're a great student, but not good in terms of execution or understanding of the world? So I would say CGPA don't matter at all. It matters what's your attitude, what's exactly are your other experiences that you have. You CGPA ধরে basically চাকরিতে কিছু করা যায় না. Eventually it doesn't matter whether you're CGPA 4 or not. Even in one case, আমাদের Grameenphone আমি যখন ছিলাম, আমাদের একটা ভাইয়া ছিলেন যাকে আমরা রিক্রুট করেছিলাম, who was probably not even a graduate, so he dropped out. So as part of the policy of Grameenphone, you're not allowed to hire full-time employees unless they are a proper graduate, because it's a company policy. It's great, but we made exception as Grameenphone to hire that person because of his talent. He's one of the most talented UX designer in Bangladesh, and we hired him. And that's exactly the great example that forget CGPA, that person didn't even graduate, but we cared about the person's skills that he or she is going to bring on the table. Yeah.
Yeah, CGPA does not matter. So
Well,
our next question.
with the one thing, the question was
Yeah.
about career. But if you want to
Yeah.
if you want to pursue your masters, if you want to become into academic fields, yes, your CGPA matters, because masters করার জন্য maybe you want to get scholarship. Certain university has requirement, the minimum requirement. I would highly encourage, if you have plans to do masters abroad, if you have plans to become a teacher, you will need a minimum CGPA. So don't over mix that with corporate world. Corporate world doesn't require it, but yes, in some cases, in other than corporate world, it's required, in my opinion.
Okay, so the next question is from Johanna Hussein. Is it necessary to acquire networking skill to do well in corporate world?
Absolutely. I think networking is required overall in life. But the problem with the networking is, সবাই মনে করে যে networking মানে হচ্ছে কি যে I go to someone, I say, hi, my name is this is my card, please give me a chakri. No, that doesn't work. That is not networking. So networking basically means that you are connected to people who you value and who also value you back. And how do you value someone? When you know about that person. And how do a person would value you back? When that person also see your work. So what I always say, Jay, networking at the overuse me gets as a term. Jay, we often think, Jay, oh, acha amar network korte hobe. I need to have certain people in my network to become this and that. No, it's your work that will speak for itself. Because of good work, you will actually become part of a great network. But if you're not doing good work, people will not take you to their network, if that makes sense. So let's say if I am part of a great network, and so if I want to be part of a great network, but I'm not great, the people in that network will not want me to be there because they will think that I'm not good enough for them. It sounds bad, but sometimes you either can be a great in terms of your execution, that's why you can become part of the network. Sometimes you can be just a good human being, and they will say, you know what, I just want you because you're a good human being. I don't care whether you are excellent in execution or not. And that's the power of being a good human being.
Exactly. So to do well in corporate world, we have to acquire the very good networking skill. Absolutely. So Is there any question? I mean, yeah. So this question is from Bless Shomik Bishash. Bhaiya, I'm studying in BBA and I'm in fourth semester. What type of IT skills should I start learning from now?
It's a very good question, Shamik, and thanks for asking. So first of all, whether you're doing BBA, whether doing engineering, or any subjects for that matter, there's some skills that I highly recommend that you should all learn. Um, First of all, আমরা যে এখন টাইপ অফ যে ধরনের ওয়ার্ক এনভায়রনমেন্টে যে ধরনের টুলস গুলো নিয়ে কাজ হয়, these are very much collaborative tool. These are online tool. They are cloud-based tools that allows you to either collaborate with others, manage your work, manage your team, or sometimes even create products and designs, things like that. So some basic skills that I would highly recommend is to learn some collaboration tools first. So there's a software called Trello. It's a very basic collaboration tool. It's a very simple to use, very fluid design, and I love it. It's very easy to use as well. Learn to use Trello, and that's a great way, even as a university student, among your friends, you should be able to use Trello. That's one. You can manage your club with Trello. You can work on a project with Trello. You can work on an event with Trello. I organized TEDx Dhaka entirely on Trello, for example. So that's an example of that. Another example of is a communication app, which is called Slack. Now, Slack is a bit advanced, but Slack is actually a professional communications tool where you actually can communicate with multiple teams in different channels and different groups. But you can also integrate lots of advanced softwares and tools on Slack. And Slack is a common tool that is used in product team, engineering team, but also in business teams as well. So learn to use Slack, Slack. The third thing I would tell you to do is to learn to do design. I think we all need to learn some bits of design. I'm not talking about exceptional design. I'm talking about wireframing. I'm talking about just basic prototyping. When you're building an idea, whether it's your own business or you're starting a product or you're working for a corporate where they tell you to, let's say, create a product, create an app, you need to be able to sketch the idea. So there are lots of softwares that are there that you can learn. There's Figma that I really like. There's Balsamic, there's Mockup, there's InVision. So all of these are basically, they have amazing prototyping tools that you need to learn. InVision has also an additional feature called Freehand. That's another also great tool. I would highly recommend BEF to also use this if you guys haven't. It's a great way of running online virtual workshops, sessions, and trainings. It's called InVision. There's another one called Miro, Miro. So again, it's very similar. It's an amazing collaborative tool. You must go and check it out and learn this as well because these tools are used in different companies. Another software that I would mention you to use is Microsoft Excel. If all of this you don't learn, but you learn Microsoft Excel, you're still probably going to be able to survive. If you don't know Microsoft Excel, you will be struggling in your life for the rest of your career, and if not even in personal life. So you have to be at least intermediate level expert in Excel, not beginners, a bit better than that. So learn Excel. I cannot emphasize the power of Microsoft Excel or spreadsheet in Google. And then third bit is I would say use all of Google's online drive, G Drive, jotogulo tools gulo ache. They're really amazing, and each one of them really creates your life much easier. If you don't know how to use them, it's really going to be big issues for you guys. So these are some of the top things I can mention top of the mind. I actually am in the middle of creating a video soon on some of the tools that you should be using and also walking through how to use those tools. So if you guys keep an eye on my YouTube channel, go ahead, subscribe, and then I can share in the future whenever it's uploaded.
Great. So I think that Shomik has already got his answer. So now I think that this is the last question from Ilma Ahmed, that in a corporate world, what do you think needs to be emphasized on more for better future prospects, management, or leadership?
So I think what Elma is trying to ask, I think leadership and management, they are integrated to each other. It's not, they're not two separate things. If you are being a leader, you have to manage. But even if you are an individual, you also have to learn to manage yourself. So management is a lifelong skill. so is leadership. So if you are capable of um, learning how to be a great self manager first, আমরা সবাই যেটা ভুল করি, আমরা সবাই ম্যানেজার হতে চাই চাকরি করতে। যে আমি জিজ্ঞেস করি, one of the common questions I ask that, what's your career ambition, what do you want to be in your 5 years from now, or what's your dream? It's like, hey, I want to become a manager, I want to become a head of the department. I was like, but then what? You will have people under you. A manager has more headaches in their head because they have to think about others. But before you become a manager, do you even really know how to manage yourself? How do you manage your time? How do you manage your daily life? A simple question I would probably ask everyone, and I want all of you to write down in the comment section below as well, that how many of you have a daily calendar for everything that you do? From সকালে ঘুম থেকে ওঠার পর থেকে রাতে ঘুমাতে যাওয়ার আগ পর্যন্ত, your personal, university, professional, যা যা আছে, even when you're hanging out with your friends or watching a Netflix, how many of you have your total daily life scheduled in a calendar? If the answer is no, then that is the first step to managing yourself. And that's going to change your life. You're going to come back after 5 years and thank me. Salman bhai, thank you so much for telling me to manage myself first. That's exactly how I became a better manager. So yes, absolutely, not just leadership or management, it's both of them.
Exactly. So I was guessing that there was only one question, but there are so many questions we have. So the
No
next
problem. Let's
question
make
is
some more. I'm okay. Yeah.
okay. So the next question is from Mahima Chaudhuri. What kind of experiences should a student acquire during their university life to excel at work after graduation?
Thanks, Mahima, for the question. I think it's also a very relevant question. Experience, আমি যদি বলি, the first question যেটা করেছিল নাহিয়ান যেটা বলছিল, so you have to have two sets of experience, good experience and bad experience. If you only are planning to create a beautiful resume with all the amazing experiences, but if you haven't failed in your entire university years because you're too cautious, you're very risk averse, then you will make the biggest mistake of your life. So first of all, you need to have two types of experience, good and bad. The second is that, then good, what type of good experiences? A good experience should be always based on a story that you want to talk about yourself. I want you all to forget about your resume for a moment. Think about, on the day of your graduation, instead of getting the degree, the scroll, and taking the picture and putting on your Instagram and Facebook, you'll be actually putting up a one-page news on a newspaper. And in that newspaper, you'll be writing about your own self, as if like somebody writing about you. What will that newspaper, one paragraph or two paragraphs, say about you as a person? And by the way, I'm not talking about patro chai, patri chai type of laka, so you cannot talk about those kind of stuff here. I'm really talking about you're actually, while you are as a first year student, second year student, third year, fourth year, doesn't matter. I want you to write a press release of who is this person after graduation. Picture that person, draw beautifully, think about all the amazing things that the person should have, and then look backward. Think, what are the things you need to do in order to become that person? And those are the experiences that you have to plan in your entire 4 years of your university. I often say one thing about, I was a science major, so I always think like a scientist, if you may, or like an engineer. I always say, in life, you actually have a choice to engineer your outcome. You can engineer the goal and the end result that you want to see. But engineering means you will have to build it the way you envision it. So you first have to have a vision, and then you build backward how to get there. And all of those are your good experiences. And the bad experiences are, you always need to take risk. I mean, an example দিয়েছিলাম আমার একটা last session যে, I don't know how many of you watch cooking show. I love cooking shows. I probably don't cook as much, but there's a show called MasterChef Australia, very famous, very popular. Actually, currently MasterChef Australia, there's a Bangladeshi girl. She's amazing. You should watch it. But in the message of Australia, they have this thing concept called immunity pin. I don't know how many of you know what is an immunity pin, but an immunity
Yes.
pin is if you get an immunity pin, even if you come last in a round of a competition, you will not be eliminated. How amazing is that? It means there is no consequence. So, what I say is that your career actually is not going to start after 4 years. Your career starts on the day one of your university. And then you have 4 years of immunity pin. And in these 4 years, even if you make mistakes, no one's going to fire you. Even if you fail to deliver something, people are going to say, come back, do it again. And no one's there to fire you or, cut your salary or, cut your holidays or make your life hell because you are supposed to make mistakes. So make lots and lots of mistakes. Don't be risk averse. Try to embrace it rather than sort of evading it. And your experience will eventually become a sum collection of good, bad, ugly all together. And that's the story. So go ahead, make sure you write your press release today before you go to bed, Thursday, or maybe by tomorrow, and start reading the press release every single day. Put it on your purse or on your wallet. Open the wallet and see the press release. Precisely on the key লেখা. What I need to do in order to get to become that press release person. That can give you a great way of starting today.
What a great observation from her. So I hope, Mahima, you have got your answer. Now, the next question is from Rakib Hussain Mahir. What are the things that will enrich the value of our CV in corporate world?
I think I've already mentioned this in a different way. So there are just so many things. Always think about experiences, right? So I'm just bollam. If you have completed the press release concept that I talked about, if you have done series of activities, events, volunteering, it's a combination of a lot of activities throughout your university, then all of them will eventually enrich. Let's give an example. Let's give a CV of a student who has been a great student, CGPA 4 out of 4, and like gold medalist and everything, job জন্য apply করলো, but no extracurricular activity. So that's one type of person. Maybe because of a gold medalist, they'll probably get a job sometimes as a preference, but they may not have the skill sets to perform it great. The second resume is maybe CGPA 3.8 or 3.3, 3.5, but has a lot of activities, clubs, অনেকগুলো clubs এর activity আছে, part-time চাকরি করেছে, টিউশনি করেছে. Then it talks about a person সে শুধু পড়াশোনা করতে পারে না, পড়াশোনার আশেপাশেও তার নিজেকে অনেক চ্যালেঞ্জ করতে পারে by trying to do tuitioning, trying to earning for himself or herself, doing club activities, achieving something. Now let's think about a third person. Average CGPA, দুইটা ক্লাব activity করেছে, part-time চাকরি করেছে, in addition to that amazing volunteering experience. এখানে volunteer করেছে, ওখানে volunteer করেছে, and has got mentored by some amazing people. As a result, if I'm sitting on an interview, I'm going to hire the person with less CGPA, more volunteering, more extracurricular activities, and more experience to talk, because that person has more to offer than someone who just has a good CGPA. Because I'm not doing a research that I need an excellent academic background student, right? I'm doing a corporate job where I need someone to do hustle, where I want someone to have a growth mindset, where I want someone to be very agile. So these are the things that I would highly recommend, is to enrich your CV, your resume. Actually, there's actually I don't know. I have a quick question. How many of you know the difference between CV and resume? They're not the same thing, by the way.
They're not same.
How many of you know the difference between CV, resume, and biodata? How many of you know the difference?
I knew that resume and CV are the same.
Not at all.
No.
Not at all. So first of all, you don't need a CV to apply for a job. You need a resume. A CV is for mostly academics or people who have a long experience in research or things like that. And a biodata is what you prepare for getting married. পাত্র পাত্রী চাই যখন খোঁজাখুঁজি হয় তখন biodata, you make a biodata. So that's a very simple, simplified definition of all these three things. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Mahir.
Okay, so I guess that this will be our last question of this segment from Aniruddha Khan Sadi. As you mentioned, attitude matters in an interview. What measure you think needs to be taken in student life to acquire that attitude? Thank you.
It's a very good question, Sadi. Thank you so much for the question. I think the attitude should be, first of all, a very humble attitude. Now, first of all, it doesn't matter whether you have a great experience in life, whether you come from a privileged family, whether you come from a great university, whether you have a great CGPA, whatever it is, you need to be a very humble person and genuinely humble, not just I'm pretending to be humble. So you have to be genuinely humble. And যারা ইন্টারভিউতে বসে থাকে বা আমার লাইফে আমরা উই ক্যান টেল যে কে আসলে শো অফ করে দেখাচ্ছে আমি অনেক হাম্বল আসলে না আর কে আসলে অ্যাকচুয়ালি হাম্বল উই ক্যান টেল. So that's number one. Number two is that you need to have a very you need to have the attitude of a growth mindset person, যেটা আমি আগে বলেছিলাম. Meaning, if your attitude যে আমাকে ভাই আপনি আমাকে যাই দেন আমি করতে রাজি আমাকে এটা 1 2 3 4 আমার দিতে হবে, that's not the good attitude. An attitude of a fresh graduate should be, I am here surrendering myself because I don't know nothing, I want to learn, please mentor me, please coach me. If you go to a coach and you tell coach, oh coach, I want great salary, I want a job, I want a car, I want a great office, I want a great desk, I want a great laptop, I want to, I don't know, and everything else, I want a great bonus, I want a promotion after 6 months. No, that's the wrong attitude. Your attitude should be, what can I learn, how can you help me become a better person? That's the right attitude. And the third attitude you can work on is to actually, I started writing small notes on LinkedIn recently, and every single day I have a coffee break when I go to my LinkedIn profile and I write a short post. গতকাল কি মনে হয় না তার আগের দিন আমি একটা um, uh, I talked about underdogs. I don't know how many of you understand the definitions of underdogs, but let me just quickly try to read through what I actually uh, mentioned. So your attitude should be like an attitude of an underdog. And what is the definition of an underdog? Underdogs are people who are not from a great background or with a lot of powers or a lot of like special connections or privilege or great CGP or things like that. But underdogs have great qualities. Underdogs don't need special treatment. Underdogs don't complain under pressure. Underdogs don't quit when challenged. Underdogs don't lack the grit and passion. Underdogs don't work alone. They work together as a team. Underdogs always admit the weaknesses. যারা অনেক arrogant বা অনেক egoistic তাদের ওরা weakness কখনো admit করতে চায় না. And that's the biggest wrong attitude you need to have in the work. Underdogs always admit their weakness and say, I made a mistake, how can I do it better? Underdogs don't care about short-term rewards. Underdogs don't look for a shortcut for a quick fame. They don't use powers to get what they want. They don't break ethics out of greed. They never stop learning. And they're always, as I mentioned in the beginning, they're always very kind and humble. So these are the skill sets or the attitude you need to bring when you come to the meeting, interview, and work. That can go a long way in helping you become a better person and do really well in your career. Nahian, you're on mute.
I'm extremely sorry for that. So thank you very much, Bhaiya. I hope that Aniruddha has already, and all the people who have question, I think that you guys have already got your answer. So yes, if I want to summarize this segment, we have learned about that how we can overcome the fear of rejection and the soft skills, and how to look for opportunities after graduation in job sectors, internships, and corporate approach. And there are so many questions you guys have already done. So overall, it was a very engaging segment. Now, I think that without further ado, I would like to give the floor to Nusrat, my co-host, Nusrat Jahan Momo Apu, so that you can continue. So yeah, up to you, Apu.
Thank you, Nahian Shejuti, for the
Thanks,
floor.
Nahian.
So, Assalamu alaikum, Salman Bhaiya. It's a great opportunity for us to learn from you, and I think that this segment was really insightful for all the people who have joined us. So there is a survey in the comment section. So I would request all the audience, the viewers, to go there and put your thoughts and how you felt about this session, and please write it about in the survey. So without wasting any time, we would like to go to the segment 2, which is corporate and kickstart. So the first question to Salman Bhaiya will be misconception of corporate culture. I mean, there are a lot of misconceptions regarding corporate life. Like students are like, এই corporate দুনিয়ায় মামা খালু ছাড়া চাকরি হয় না, some things like that. So it is a really big misconception, I think. So so what do you think, what are the misconceptions that our students might have or they might face, and what do you have to say about that?
Thank you so much, Momo. So I think misconceptions are always there, and it will continue to be there because we create these misconceptions, and also they continue to always create confusions for all of us. আমি যেটা বলবো যে let's think about, metaphorically, think about আমরা ছোটবেলা থেকে যখন আমরা জন্মগ্রহণ করি, তারপর আমরা বড় হই, কথা বলা শিখি, আমরা স্কুলে যাই, কলেজে যাই, ইউনিভার্সিটিতে যাই, the whole time we not only acquire what we know or what we see around us, but also what we are told. আমাদেরকে আমাদের ফ্যামিলি থেকে কিছু জিনিস বলা হচ্ছে, আমাদের স্কুলে কিছু জিনিস বলা হচ্ছে, আমাদের সমাজের চারিদিকে অনেক ধরনের কথাবার্তা বলতেছে, and সবগুলোর উপর ভিত্তি করে we become very heavy in terms of the kind of things that we carry with ourselves. And the problem is যে আমরা যখন একটা কিছু শুনি, আমরা ওটাকে properly question করি, we don't go to the deep length of it, যে আসলে এটার মানেটা কি, আসলে এটা এই জিনিসটার what exactly they are trying to say by this. And যেহেতু আমরা we are like a social media generation, we are always constantly একটা জিনিস, আমাদের attention span for আমাদের knowledge যখন আমরা acquire করি, it's very limited. For example, I can tell that while somebody is listening to this session, there are more than 50% maybe thinking about something else, at least. If not, they're listening to this session in one tab, and on the other tab, they're probably Facebooking or checking out something on YouTube or something like that. Or we are Instagramming while I'm listening to this. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is a misconception, to me, refers to lack of clarity or lack of understanding of a particular concept or particular situation or a particular matter. তখনই আমাদের misconception তৈরি হয় যখন we don't have enough knowledge about it. We don't have enough knowledge when we don't pay attention. We don't pay attention when we are busy doing too many things. We are busy doing too many things is when we lose valuable information and resources. So what I'm trying to say is that before even talking about what are the misconceptions that we need to work on, it's first important to admit that we are the one creating these misconceptions in our head. And when we get these misconceptions, we just believe it at the face value. ওই যে কেউ একটা বললো ফেসবুকে যে আমার এখানে এটা হয়েছে, বা কালকে এটা হবে, বা আজকে তো বাংলাদেশের এখানে এই জায়গায় একটা খারাপ জিনিস হচ্ছে, ওইটাই বিশ্বাস করে 10-12টা 100টা 10,000টা শেয়ার হয়ে গেল, মানে চিলে কান নিয়ে গেছে কিন্তু কান কানের জায়গায় আছে. So first thing first, please don't take misconception by heart instead of thinking যে আচ্ছা এটা আসলে এটা কেন, এটা মানে কি. Now let me give you some of the misconception. Some of the misconception আমাদের সবার মধ্যে যেটা আছে about career is that job title matter করে. Job title is very important. Working for a big brand is extremely important যে আমার লাইফের আমার আইডেন্টিটি কেমন হবে. I have to be extremely competitive in order to progress in life. Like আমাকে সবাইকে মানে পারলে অন্যের মাথার উপর দিয়ে গিয়ে কাউকে ক্ষতি করে কাউকে ধ্বংস করে আমাকে সামনে আগায় যেতে হবে। মিসকনসেপশন ইজ দ্যাট আমি যদি চাকরিতে প্রমোশন পাই তাহলে আমার স্যালারি হবে, স্যালারি হলে আমার গাড়ি হবে, বাড়ি হবে, এবং দ্যাট উইল মেক মি বাই অল মাই ড্রিমস। দিস আর অল মিসকনসেপশনস। মিসকনসেপশন হচ্ছে গিয়ে যে আমি যখন চাকরি করব, আমি আমার অ্যানুয়াল হলিডেজ না নিয়ে আমি আমার সারা বছর কাজ করব, আই উইল নট টেক কেয়ার অফ মাই হেলথ, আই উইল টেক কেয়ার অফ নট টেক কেয়ার অফ মাই ফিজিক্যাল এন্ড মেন্টাল হেলথ, and that will make me become a great excellent corporate influencer or person. These are all misconceptions. So what I'm trying to say is that if I think of this যে আমি আজকে বলি to you guys এখনই যে guys, title is the most important thing in your life, automatically you guys will believe me and you will start working. But I want you to do this. I don't want you to believe everything I say. Just because I said it doesn't mean you have to believe it. You use your judgment and then you research. If this is something you really want to make it as part of yourself, you really need to be able to first question, is this something that I want to put my value or not? If you do put value, it should not be a misconception. It should be a proper judgment based on a proper understanding. Hence, you can avoid misconception. Hence, you can know about the misconceptions and make sure that you are not a victim of those misconceptions for your personal growth and your personal developments. So I hope I could explain a little bit about that. Momo.
Yes, so the thing I learned is, and I think everyone learned, is that first learn about the misconceptions, then avoid and don't be a victim of the misconceptions. So the second question for Salman Bhaiya is how the freshers should start to think about the corporate life and how they should, be a part of the corporate life from the very beginning. As you said earlier in the first segment that from the very first moment of your varsity life or graduation life, you can start, gathering your knowledge. So what do you think? How the freshers should start?
So I think this question has like more of the like after graduation. So আমি যেহেতু already আগে বলেছি যে your, let's say, pre-career starts in the university days. So you finish almost like a 4 years of pre-career. So you already have a lot of knowledge and experiences. When you go to your first job, the first thing I always say to a lot of people, don't have a chip on your shoulder. Now, having a chip on your shoulder means that you are very stubborn, you're very arrogant, you're not willing to learn. You just think that আমি অনেক কিছু শিখে ফেলছি, আমি এখন দিতে আসছি, I'll change the world. One of the first few things that I hear from fresh graduates when I ask them, Jay, what do you want to do? They basically talk about they want to change the world. So the first, again, this is similar to the misconception. Your job after you graduate is not to change the world, although you can be part of changing the world, but don't take the responsibility to change the world. First, learn what to change, and then you become part of the change, and then you become the change agent. So you just cannot be the change maker tomorrow. It doesn't happen overnight. But I'm sure you overnight success child. So in your first job or first 2-3 jobs, or even in your first 3 to 5 years, stay like an underdog. Think that আমি কিছু জানি না. In fact, think of it for the rest of your life. When your supervisor gives you feedback, listen to the supervisor instead of thinking যে আচ্ছা কখন আমার feedback session শেষ হবে তাহলে I can go back to my work. No, pay attention. আমরা আরেকটা যেটা করি যে আমরা কখনো we don't ask for feedback from people around us. We only ask for feedback maybe for our supervisor. But the problem is your supervisor is not always looking at you. Your supervisor is mostly expecting your delivery, but you're actually working with your co-workers, your stakeholders, like other department people below you and people above you. So in Grameenphone or in Telenor, we have this very beautiful concept called 360-degree review. What it means is that we identify the people within our entire workspace who I'm either directly or indirectly connected to based on my work. So when I want to evaluate about myself, I try to understand যে আমাকে ওই মানুষটা কিভাবে দেখছে. So on a quarterly basis পারলে or half yearly, I schedule a 45 minutes to 1 hour meeting with each one of those people to understand. And where I don't talk, I simply ask. আমি বলি যে ভাই এই সেশনে আমি আপনাকে অনেকগুলো কোয়েশ্চেন করবো about me, and I want you to give me all your honest truths, what you think. What happens in that session, you learn so much about yourself. I can bet this is something আমরা আমাদের জীবনে ইউজ করতে চাই না বা জীবনে ইউজ করি না। আমার আবার কি ফিডব্যাক দরকার? আমি তো সবই জানি। আমার কি ফিডব্যাক দরকার? আমি তো সব বুঝে গেছি। I figured out everything in the world. Even as a student, আমরা মনে করি যে আচ্ছা আমি তো একটা ভালো একটা সিজিপিএ মেনটেন করতেছি, আমি তো 2টা ক্লাব করতেছি, আমার টিচার আমাকে ভালো বলছে, সো আই নো আমার কিছু শেখার নাই। Wrong. If I can tell you one thing, maybe এই রোজার পরে বা রোজার শেষে, whenever you want, identify 5 people in your life who you are either having a professional relationship or personal relationship who knows you very well. Schedule a 45 minutes to an hour session. And in that session, sincerely, humbly ask them all the questions you can ask them about what they think of you, how they think that you can be a better person. Ask them specifically. Let's say if it's a person who is your classmate, you ask your classmate, Acha, you saw me in a class. Tell me, আমি আমার কোয়েশ্চন যখন আমি জিজ্ঞেস করি, how confident do you think I am? How can I change my style? When I'm giving a presentation, am I doing it right? আমি যখন একটা PowerPoint বানাচ্ছি, give me some feedback on my PowerPoint presentation. When I'm talking about, when I'm working in a club or performing in a club, give me feedback on my debating, give me feedback on my photography or something like that. So what I'm talking about is that you need to be able to constantly taking feedbacks instead of only thinking you'll change the world. And if you do that, I can guarantee you will have a much more bigger growth. You'll become a much more successful person than what you actually can do for yourself. Momo.
Thank you so much, Salman Bhaiya. I have just noticed a question where someone asked that if you haven't done anything in those 4 years, so what should be your next step? I mean, what should you do as a student or as a fresh graduate? So, I mean, there are students like just focusing on the CGPA, of course, because of personal point of view or family pressure. So, what should they do?
So maybe Jay, question to Korochami, I can ask a follow-up question. Maybe you can check and what they reply. So my first question is, Jay, econo kichu koreni apart from the usual grades and the university grades. Is it on purpose, naki mane by choice, naki eta ashole because the person was not aware যে আমাকে অন্য আরো অনেক কিছু করতে হবে? Is it because of that? So if I can know that, maybe then I could help answer the question a bit better. But to give an answer, I want to ask you guys a question, and probably parents, if any parents hear this, they're not going to like it. But when you are an adult, who is responsible for you, you or your parents? If the answer is you, then all the decisions you're going to take in life is also dependent on you. I know so many people, and again, don't get me wrong, আমিও বাংলাদেশে বড় হয়েছি, আমারও বাসা, I come from a typical middle class family, conservative as well to some extent. But your job is to know what is right, because as a parent, your parents often don't know what is right for you when you are in university. যে কোন সাবজেক্টে আমি মেজর করব, আমি কোন সাবজেক্টে পড়াশোনা করব, পড়াশোনা পরে কোন জায়গায় চাকরি করব, parents often don't know because it's not their responsibility to know, it's your responsibility to know. So if I tell you one thing, and there's actually one of my favorite this professor who died, but he talked about in one of his books called The Last Lecture, a professor called Randy Pausch, in his book Last Lecture, he says there's an expiry date till how till when you will keep listening to your parents. Meaning, after a certain age, whatever your parents say about your professional or personal life, it's not a decision, it's an input in your life. Just like the way you have inputs from your friends, your family members, your classmates, your boss, your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband and wife, they can give you inputs, but the decision is all on your own. So আমি বলবো যে if you're someone who haven't yet uh, started doing anything other than your studies, but you need to do this as part of your extracurricular activities, you start now. Um, it's good to start now than to not do it ever. Start
Yes.
identifying, looking for internships, looking for opportunities. Just say যে ভাই আমার কোনো সার্টিফিকেট দরকার নাই, আমার কোনো আমার কোনো টাকা দরকার নাই, I will do it for free. I'll give you my time. Tell me what I can do for you. I know how to do excellent Excel spreadsheet. I know how to do excellent design. I know how to do great maths. I know how to do great research. আমাকে কাজ দেন, আমি আপনার কাজ করে দিচ্ছি for free. I will put this as part of my experience. If I were you, I will exactly do that. And in terms of your parents, যেটা বললাম যে you need to know exactly what you want to do. So someone who asked the question, I want to know from you, what's your career ambition in life, and what do you want to do after you graduate? So maybe Momo, you can tell me what's the answer on that question, then I can maybe help.
I mean, the question was in the first segment, so I thought I should bring it up so that everyone can understand the importance of, focusing on the focusing on experience from the very first beginning of their life or undergrad life. So the next question will be the value and security of corporate life. I mean, what is the value and what is the security of corporate life that the students should know? The students should know about.
I don't know what's the meaning of value about the corporate life, but if I try to answer it, don't think about your corporate life as anything uniquely different than anything else. Corporate life is just another activity in your life where you're involved into giving your time. In exchange, you get paid. So you have a skill that you can offer. Instead of offering it in a startup, instead of offering it in your own business, instead of offering it in your family business, instead of offering it in doing a freelancing or consulting, you're offering it in a corporate. So as a result, you are basically exchanging your skill as a value to receive monetary value and some recognition, some environment that you want to be in. So that to me is the value of being in a corporate. But it doesn't matter whether it's only in corporate or not. So if you are thinking about working, then don't limit it to only corporate. There are amazing small companies, there are amazing startups, there are amazing small businesses like SMEs who are not even corporate or they don't have a corporate culture properly as well. But they are excellent, they're amazing places to work and to learn so much about them, from them. The second thing, you can also choose to work for consulting or freelancing. The COVID has changed the world significantly, and the number of people who are now doing freelancing and consulting and remote work is amazing. So it doesn't matter what type of work you do. What matters is what skills do you have that you can offer. You can either be a specialist or you can be a generalist. A specialist is someone who has a very like a strong specialization on a particular domain, and then with that domain expertise, he or she can offer a great value to someone. A generalist is someone who probably has multiple domain expertise or close to being an expert, but has a greater idea of how to operate in a complex environment because that person can be more of a general manager than just a specialist. So you need to choose what's your career track that you want to follow. As a specialist, you can also work in both corporates or startups. At the same time, you can also be a freelancer consultant, giving your value and earning a lot of money as well. It's just sitting in your own house, in your room, and doing whatever you do.
Thank you so much, Salman Bhaiya. So in this segment, we have learned what are the misconceptions and how the graduates should work on their experiences from the very first life of their university life, and then what they should do after their graduation, and also the value and security of corporate life. So now we'll be taking questions for So the first question is from Tasfia Alam Momo. There is a saying that introverts should not join the corporate as they cannot brand themselves well. To what extent it's true?
No, it's not true. So that's the short answer.
What do you think, Salman
The
Bhai?
world is the short answer is it's not true. First of all, the world is not full of only extroverts. The world is full of mixed type of people, and it's only normal to have them. So that's one. Don't label introvert as a negative thing. Just like the way if you label rejection as a fear, that creates problem in life. If you're an introvert and if you call yourself weak, that's you are responsible for your own demise. Don't do that. Being an introvert is okay because it's a nature. Actually, just to give an honest understanding, I'm a born introvert, but I have become capable of acting like an introvert. In my life, in my family, I'm actually very introvert, meaning I have my own space. I really love my space. আমি ছোটবেলায় খুব কম কথা বলতাম, মেবি এখন আমি সেশন নিচ্ছি বলে অনেক কথা বলছি, but in person I actually don't talk as much, unless I'm with my friends and I'm enjoying a good time. Even among friends sometimes I speak very less, either because I don't know what to say, or maybe because I'm just quiet. So I was a born introvert, but I've learned to be introvert when I need to be, but I also learned to be an extrovert when I have to be. So be more dynamic, be like a fluid person instead of labeling yourself. Don't do that. I don't think anybody is only introvert or only extrovert. We're a bit of a mix always. So don't worry, it's not true. I know a lot of engineers. I know a lot of my team members who are extremely introvert, and they actually are some of the best people I had in my team. And so I actually like introverts in many cases much better, because extroverted people are sometimes a lot of trouble. They talk too much, they are too expressive, and sometimes they just don't know what they're doing. So don't worry. It's probably better to be an introvert in some cases as well.
So the next question is, as a fourth-year student who doesn't have a lot of achievements in her life, how can she stand out in the corporate world?
Again, when you're saying you don't have an achievements, I'll go back to what I said in the beginning, right? We don't measure any fresher based on their achievements. We measure freshers based on their attitude, their drive, their passion, and their experience. If you have all these four and no achievements, you haven't been a gold medalist, you are not a debate champion or like a photography club champion, or like, I don't know, you didn't win any awards or medals, absolutely okay. If you have them, that's great. That says something more than normal. But it's all about have the passion, the drive, the attitude, and the experiences all together. Go back to that, what I said in the beginning, your press release. Write your press release now and see what is missing, and then add whatever you need to add on that press release. Somebody's going to hire you for that.
Thank you, Salman Bhai, for the nice answer. Okay, so next question is from Rukia Akhtar. Why organizations offer less internship?
I think it's a generalized statement. I'm not so sure if all organizations offer less internship, but here's my way. There are two types of internship. There's paid internship, and then there's unpaid internship. If I were you, I would never care আমাকে internship করার সময় টাকা দিবে কি দিবে না. There are big internships even in after graduating from top universities that you do for free in some places as well. So meaning focus on আমি কার সাথে ইন্টার্নশিপটা করছি এবং আমি সেই ইন্টার্নশিপটা করে আমি কি শিখছি. I give you a quick tip. If a company that you want to get an internship on with and the company doesn't offer an internship, find the department. Find a person in that department who you know or you don't know, but somebody else knows. Tell that person you know to write to that person in that department that can you offer this person unpaid internship even if you don't have a paid internship. Ask that person to write a recommendation for you and say that this person is really good at writing, really good at design, really good at this and that. A person will do work for you, and all you have to do is to hire her as an intern. So for Rokea's case, if I am always hiring interns, by the way, and I have a lot of interns in my office right now, or like contractors, or like people, or like in my career so far, who purely got the job of the internship because they came and proactively said, "Bhai, আমাকে একটা সুযোগ দেন, আমি কিছু কাজ করে দিব." So let's do it. I had so many interns, so we didn't have any position in the HR. I said I want an intern. HR said as long as the intern, it's okay when we can cover it within our scope. Go ahead and take it. And who doesn't want an additional help? Who doesn't want someone to give them a support? If you're a manager, you would love to get good interns. So go ahead and apply. And it doesn't matter if the organization has a circular for an internship. Circular di jibone chakri hoy na. Ami eta bole dicchi, don't do that. You get jobs because you go to the organization, you find someone, you say, I am good, you better give me a job or you're going to lose. You go and tell that and see what people say. I will say that 80% of the time people will be, giving you a job right then and then.
That's really nice. So next question is from Yashita Ishana. Should we avoid doing 2 or more things together, or we should try to learn multitasking?
Short answer, multitasking. Again, I also thought multitasking is, আমাদের লাইফে আমরা কি দেখে বড় হয়েছি? আমরা বড় হয়েছি হচ্ছে গিয়ে Superman, Spider-Man, and all this, Marvel characters, DC characters, and আমরা কি শিখছি যে ওরা একজন একাই মিলে সবকিছু করে ফেলতে পারে. সো আমাদের সবার মধ্যে একটা দিস রং কনসেপ্ট তৈরি হয়েছে যে এট এ টাইম আমাদের সব করতে না পারলে we are not good enough. First thing, that's wrong. Don't worry about multitasking. Multitasking is bad for you. It makes you burn out, and it also reduces the quality of the outcome of what you do. For example, when I'm talking to you guys, I am not multitasking. I am not chatting. আমি কিন্তু ফোনের দিকে একবারও তাকাই নাই. My phone is on silent. My computer is on mute. Even my cat, I made sure my cat is sleeping instead of coming in front of the screen, although she may come to pore. So I am not multitasking, right? As a result, I'm fully giving my devotion and attention to your time. Hence, I can add a lot of value. I know a lot of people who probably will be going into a session and একদিকে তাকায় আছে কিন্তু আসলে ফোনের দিকে ঘুরতেছে. They're multitasking. Basically, what they're doing is they're disrespecting your time and not giving you the value or the quality that you can get. So don't do multitasking. That's number one. But can you do more than one thing? Yes, but not at the same time. You should block. There's a concept called strategic time blocking. Strategic time blocking. You need to assign a specific time for what you do when you do it. So in a day, you can do 3-4 things, but you cannot do 2 things at the same time. যে আমি বসে বসে এখন একটা প্রজেক্ট শেষ করতেছি আর at the same time আমার পাশে ফেসবুকটা খোলা আছে, আমি আমার ফেসবুক চ্যানেলটা ম্যানেজ করতেছি. Don't do that. So that's multitasking, and that's what you should not do.
So the next question is from Nahidul Rana. What type of activities should I involve myself to improve communication skills?
I think it's a very good question, Nahidul Rana. I think what I did, আমি আমার ইউনিভার্সিটি ঢোকার আগে আমি তো বাংলা মিডিয়াম স্কুলে পড়েছি, ক্যান পাবলিক স্কুলে পড়েছি. সো আমার সারা জীবন আমি এক্সকিউজ মি, বাংলায় কথা বলেছি। এবং আম, আমি কখন ইংলিশে কথা বললে আমাকে ইনফ্যাক্ট আমার, ফর এক্সাম্পল, আমার ফ্রেন্ডসরা, আমার ক্লাসমেটসরা আমাকে বুলি করতো যে আসছে ইংলিশে পার্ট মারতে কথা বলতেছে। সো আমার এন্টার বাংলা মিডিয়াম স্কুল টাইমে আমি ইংলিশ শিখতে পারিনি প্রপারলি। সো ইউনিভার্সিটি ঢোকার পর আমি প্রথম ডিসিশন নিয়েছি যে, যেটা আমি শুরুতে বলেছি অ্যাজ ওয়েল, দ্যাট আমাকে ইংলিশ শিখতে হবে খুব ভালো করে। আই হ্যাভ টু বি আ গ্রেট ইংলিশ স্পিকিং পারসন, and I have to do it by making as many mistakes as I can in my 4 years, because I have the immunity pin, so that I can make all the mistakes and no one's going to fire me. So what I did, I challenged myself out of my comfort zone. Instead of thinking যে মানুষ কি বলবে, আমি ভুল বলতেছি কিনা, আমি রং বলছি কিনা, even এখন আমি অনেক ইংলিশে ভুল করি, by the way. I still say all things that I'm very wrong, but I do it confidently because I know I'm trying to communicate. The responsibility is to communicate what I want to communicate. So the first thing I did, I joined the debating club. And the second thing I did, I started speaking in English every day. So I would talk, speak, prepare. আমার ফ্রেন্ডরাও হচ্ছে যাদের সাথে আমি, the two best friends from my entire university life, that is still my best friends, are actually people যাদের সাথে আমি ইংলিশে কথা বলি. We hardly speak in Bangla. Even so, that one of my best friend is actually from English medium. I'm from Bangla medium, from Adamji school. My other friend is from AKS, and my other friend is from like Shoidanwar, but one is from Tripoli department, another is from English department, and I'm from business department, BBA. We didn't do a single course together in our university, but we are the best of friends. So what I did is I found people who I could speak in English, who helped me become a better English speaker. Listen to English songs, write English every single day. Every single day, write a journal. I know সব জায়গায় এটা বলছে, but the problem is, আজকে আমি মনে করেন, for example, এই পর্যন্ত যা যা বলছি, I can tell 90 to 95% of the things you will not do. So there's actually like a rule. So 50% of the things you will remember now, and 50% you will automatically forget. 25% you will remember tomorrow, and you will think that you should do. 25% thing you will want to do, but you will never make time for it. And remaining 5% of you basically will think যে আচ্ছা আমাকে তো করতে হবে, let's try. We'll try one thing, and you'll probably end up doing one thing. So the moral of the story is that you need to act as opposed to only listen and consume. And that way you can communicate. Let's say আমরা ফেসবুকে আমরা সবাই বাংলায় লিখি, আমরা একটা ভিডিও ইংলিশে দেখলে আমি দেখি না। ফর এক্সাম্পল, আমি যখন ইউটিউব চ্যানেল শুরু করি, আমাকে সবাই বলছে যে ইফ ইউ ডোন্ট ডু এ ইউটিউব চ্যানেল ইন বাংলা, আপনার কন্টেন্ট কেউ দেখবে না। আমি বলছি আমার দরকার নেই আমার কন্টেন্ট দেখার। যেই ছেলে বাংলা কন্টেন্ট না হলে দেখবে না, ও নিজের পায়ে নিজের কুড়াল মারতেছে, বিকজ সে ইংলিশ শিখতে চাচ্ছে না। আমি তো মানে অস্ট্রেলিয়ান আর ব্রিটিশ অ্যাকসেন্টে কথা বলছি না, আমি মেবি মোর আমেরিকান অ্যাকসেন্টে কথা বলছি, বিকজ দ্যাটস মোর ইজি। বাট it's still easy to understand my language than to someone who is actually a foreigner maybe. So আমি বলছি যে আমি ইংলিশে বলবো, and যার ইংলিশ শেখার ইচ্ছা সে আমার ভিডিও দেখবে, যার ইচ্ছা নাই সে দেখবে না। ও তখন ওই বাংলায় যতগুলো বাংলাদেশে ভিডিও পাওয়া যায়, হাজার হাজার ভিডিও আছে, দেখবে, বাট ওই ভিডিও থেকে ইংলিশ শেখা হবে না, অনেকগুলো কনজাম্পশন হবে। So that's it. So you have to live, dream, sleep, drink, everything in English. So that's exactly how you learn English.
Yes. So I think you have got your answer. So next question is from Naima and Khan. This pandemic situation has literally becoming a toll for our mental health. Normal eating and studying is so much for us. Now, how to manage life and do the most of our right time now to have a fruitful future?
Naima, thank you so much for your question. I think this is the best question so far. Ejonne, because I have a very sincere appreciation towards people who are courageous enough to mention that আমাদের mental health এর নিয়ে কথা বলা উচিত, because আমরা সবাই এটাকে সাপ্রেস করি, এটা নিয়ে বলতে চাই না। আমরা মনে করি স্টিগমা, অনেক স্টিরিওটাইপস আছে, সো আমাদেরকে এটা নিয়ে কথা বলা যাবে না। সো ফার্স্ট অফ অল, থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ ফর ব্রিংিং দ্য টপিক। সেকেন্ড হচ্ছে গিয়ে, it's extremely true that কোভিডের কারণে, লকডাউনের কারণে আমাদের সবার মেন্টাল হেলথ কম্প্রোমাইজড হয়ে গেছে, and we are really all struggling to balance. Now, what can we actually do? So আমি যে উত্তরটা দিব, এই উত্তরটা নতুন কোনো উত্তর না, বাট এই উত্তরটা আমাদেরকে করতে হবে। এবং আমি নিজেই কোভিড টাইমে নিজেই আমার I suffered mentally. I had my own depression, and I actually then started taking my own action to fix it. And here are some of the steps that you can easily do. It worked for me, it worked for millions of people in the world, and it might help. So it first starts with self-care. If you take care of yourself, then you automatically will be physically and mentally better. Now, self-care has a lot of parts to it. So first thing first, there are things you can control in your life and there are things you cannot control. So first, stop worrying about things that you cannot control. If you worry about things you cannot control, you will only worry more, and those things will never go, and you will suffer for the rest of your life. So please help yourself by accepting that the things you cannot control are okay. You don't have to worry about it. That's number one. Number two, how do you take care of your physical and mental health? It's interconnected. So every single day when you wake up, let me give you a quick run through of my whole day. I try to wake up in the morning. I end up waking up early, even if I go to sleep late because of my cat. My cat wakes me up. She starts calling me from 5 in the morning, and then I have to give her food at 7. So I can never go to stay in the bed after 7. But the first thing I tell you, when you wake up, first 1 hour, don't touch your phone. Don't go to social media to check কে আমার ফেসবুকে পোস্টে লাইক দিল, কে শেয়ার দিল, কে একটা মেসেজ করলো। Every single day, do not touch your phone in the morning for 1 hour. একদম ওই সময় ফোনটার ডেটা অন হবে না, ফোনে কোনো মেসেজ এয়ারপ্লেন মোডে দিয়ে রাখতে হবে ফোনটা। That's number one. The world is not gonna destroy if your phone is on airplane mode. Trust me. Number two হচ্ছে গিয়ে ওই 1 hour আমি কি কি করবো? So আমি ফার্স্ট করি, I take a cold shower. I just simply go to my bathroom, I brush my teeth, and I take a cold shower. It automatically activates my overall body, and it makes me feel really good about my presence at that time. And at that very moment, I try to do a quick meditation for 10 to 15 minutes. There are lots of videos on how to do meditate better. Just watch it on YouTube or anywhere you want. So I meditate for 10 minutes in the morning to 15 minutes in the morning, depending on how I do it. Right after I finish my meditation, I make a small glass of I don't do coffee right in the morning, but you can do a coffee in the morning, or you can just get a small glass of, like a big glass of water. Very, very important for you to hydrate yourself. It's a good part of your mental and physical health. After that, before you go for your breakfast or do anything else, sit in your table or in your bed, wherever you have a piece of pen and paper. Oh, always before going to bed, keep a pen and paper next to your bed or balishin niche. So when you wake up, actually the first thing I do, I make my bed. So if you can see, I make my bed myself. I don't have a maid. Bangladeshi থাকতে যেমন maid ছিল কাজ করে দিত, I make my own bed. So make your bed, and it makes you achieve something first thing before even starting your day. So first achievement of the day, that you made your bed. So when you come back at night with a bed that looks so ready, it makes you want to go to sleep better. It makes you feel that, oh, I accomplished something. I did something for myself. Then after finishing your, as I said, meditation, spend next 10 minutes to 15 minutes to write something. Either you write about the dreams you had. It's extremely important to capture your dreams. Or you write something that you are grateful for, something that you want. I read 3 things. 3 things I'm grateful for today. 3 things I am going to do today that's extremely important to me personally. And 3 things I have to do at office no matter what, because these are important to me. And every day this exercise really helps me become more clear that আমার সারাদিনে কি করতে হবে। সারাদিন I don't constantly go around like, oh আচ্ছা আচ্ছা আমার তো টাইম হচ্ছে না, কি হচ্ছে না, কি করবো না করবো, কিছু হচ্ছে না। So by this time 1 hour has gone by, then you can turn on your phone, but control the number of hours you spend on social media. If there's one thing that's causing your mental health issues, it's probably your social media consumption. On my phone, I have iPhone, whichever phone you have, you can actually download a software for this. I only use my social media only 1 hour in a day on my phone. After 1 hour, it automatically turns off. So I have a lock system. If I ask you, I know some of you are smiling, uh, you probably use 4 or 5 hours worth of social media every single day, if not more. You can go to your phone settings and check how many hours do you use your social media on a daily basis. Stop using social media so much. Fourth thing I can tell you, stop watching TV. TV has full of negative news for you to make you even more miserable. Don't watch TV for the next 1 month. Because if you টিভি খুললেই দেখবে যে কেউ মারা গেছে, এখানে এটা হচ্ছে, তো ওখানে ওটা হচ্ছে. These are all negative news. It, you don't need to make your life miserable on top of what you already are. Don't let it happen. And then throughout the whole day, don't do anything at a stretch for too long. Take short breaks. Take a break to walk out of your study and sort of stretch a little, talk to your family, read a little bit of book. Always create small compartments. Think about your closet. If your closet was just one box and you had to keep all the clothes like stuff there, it will look very messy. But if your closet had a lot of compartments, you can have a very well organized closet. So you need to also have a very well organized day plan for yourself. আমি শুরুর দিকে একটা জিনিস বলেছিলাম যে how many of you have your daily calendar? সকাল থেকে ওঠার পরে রাত পর্যন্ত. If you have a calendar, your calendar will help you guide. I always look at my calendar before going to sleep. It helps me already know what I need to do tomorrow, so I don't panic. I'm already prepared, I'm ready to start the day, and I'm going to do whatever I want to do. I try to finish all the important work in the first half of the day, and I keep the second half for not so important work. And the last thing, before going to bed, last 1 hour before you go to bed, do not use your phone again. Your phone should be turned off, airplane mode, 1 hour before you go to sleep, every day. In that 1 hour, talk to your family, talk to your parents, your brothers and sisters, not on the phone, but one-to-one, or read a book. Look back at your journal that you wrote in the morning, where you wrote, why are you grateful? Look at the 3 things you wanted to get done today and see if you actually completed. Give a tick mark. You'll automatically see, oh my God, I've completed so many things today. My life is in control. And if you have time, maybe সন্ধ্যাবেলায় আরেকটা 10 মিনিটের second meditation করতে পারলে আরো better. আর last যেটা আমি বলি সেটা হচ্ছে exercise. Exercise at least 3 to 4 times a week for at least 30 minutes. If you just do this, like Allah Qasam for 1 month, then I promise you that you will start feeling physically, mentally better, and you will start doing excellent in your study, in your focus, in everything, whatever that you do. Sorry for the long answer, but I really think that this is a very important question. সবার জন্য it can be very, very valuable.
Indeed, it was a really important question, and I think all the viewers are really going to follow if they want to have a control and a better life. So the next question is from Hassan Sakib. If you have a business plan and if you have the resources as well, but I am an undergraduate student in second year, so what should I do? Should I complete my study or go for business? Because right now I believe this is the booming time for my business. So what should I do? Because it's very to I mean maybe it's very difficult to manage both.
I think it's a very good question. এবং এই dilemma টা আমাদের সবারই থাকে, যারাই anyone who has great ideas or has a great ambition, they want to do something, whether you call it a project, hobby, side hustle, or business. We all have this. আমি যেটা বলবো যে there are 2 things that I would want you to focus. If you want to start your business without any experience, you will have a lot of hard work to do to really learn those things by yourself. Meaning, for not having the experience, it will be very difficult for you to establish your business and succeed in your business. As a matter of fact, some of the best businessmen in the world are actually 30 plus or 35 plus year old on an average. Some of the best, most successful people in the world started their business when they're 35, 36, not when they're 20. These are exceptions. So what I'm trying to say that when you are experienced about the world, when you know how to manage people, when you know how to hire people, when you know how to open a bank account, when you know how to register a company, when you know how to like do HR, when you know how to do many of the things that you need to do as part of business, it becomes very easy. So if you start as a fresh person, it might be very difficult for you. That's one. But my advice would be instead of thinking about starting your business full time and not getting a job experience, do a job, do a 9 to 5, and then create a side hustle, meaning a part time, your business should be part time. As you start working on your part time business, you yourself will know when to leave your job and to do your business full time. If your business starts getting really big, you're getting great traction, there's so much demand, and you need to hire people, you need to invest in all of that, that's when you need to quit your job and do your business full time. Before that, I still will recommend get some experience first, then you do your business.
Thank you so much, Salman Bhaiya. So there is another question from Sarwar A. Mithun. How important it is to start a corporate life just by getting into a job rather than waiting for a good job? That's a good question.
It's a very good question, Sarwar. So I think short answer again is there is no such thing as good job or great job. It's what you make of it. Actually, আমি আমার আজকে আমার লিঙ্কডইন পোস্টে আমি একটা কোট শেয়ার করেছিলাম যে if you cannot change the cards you are dealt, you can only change how you play the hand. Those of you who know play how to play card games, you know this example, right? So card games এ কি হয় যে শুরুতে আমরা কার্ড বেটে দেই সবাইকে, right? So আমরা we deal the card and then we give it to everyone, like 4 cards, 6 cards, 7 cards, whatever, and then you have those cards in your hand and you have to play with whatever you got, meaning you have to make the best use of your time, energy, attention to make your work a great work. Your job will never be good by default. So that's my answer. So it's not important at all. It's what you make of it.
Thank you so much, Salman Bhaiya. And that will be the ending question. And it was such a wonderful session, of course, and so informative and full of, information. And I would suggest our viewers to go to the YouTube videos of Salman Bhai and learn more. And I would suggest that to take notes from now on who are willing to enter the corporate world. And I hope we will see Salman Bhai in the future with another session with some more experiences and some more informations. So thank you so much, Salman Bhaiya, for being with us. Thank you.
No, thank you,
Yeah.
Momo and Nahian, for hosting the session. You've been a great host, and also thank you,
Yeah.
Brad, B, for inviting me. And it's a great opportunity for me to be able to talk to you guys, and and most importantly, all the participants who you are very kind to give your valuable time. I really hope that I could do justice to the time that you have given me in terms of sharing some of the experiences and the questions that you had. I know that these sessions are never ending because you can always ask more questions and more things that I can respond. So as Momo mentioned, feel free to follow my YouTube channel. I try to upload whenever I get time, and that's, by the way, is my side hustle. If you think about it, I have to prepare and do all of that for you apart from my full-time job. So I keep committing myself to that. At the same time, on my LinkedIn, I share specifically career focus write up every single day. So প্রতিদিন আমি একটা ছোট less than 5 minutes literally 2 থেকে 3 মিনিট লাগে পড়তে একটা experience share করি এবং real life experience personal experience and I talk about things. Already there are 8 posts, including today. So you guys can go and check my LinkedIn, and you don't have to add me. You can just follow my posts, and then that will be good enough. And again, like, thank you so much for listening to me. It's been a great time having you guys.
Time.
Uh,
I
And
mean,
thank you,
it's
Bhai, for your valuable time also. Like, yeah, it's obvious that you have like managed some time of your day for this. So yeah, that's really
now, of course,
great.
my pleasure.
Yeah.
I think okay, if I have to have a closing one line, সেটা হচ্ছে গিয়ে, আমি শুরুতে আবার বলেছিলাম যে you have to give people back if you want to do good. So এই সেশনটার আমার একটা মেইন উদ্দেশ্য ছিল হচ্ছে গিয়ে যে how can I give back my knowledge and experience to those who need it, and I'm doing this as part of, আমার প্রতি সপ্তাহে এবং মাসে আমার একটা allocated hours থাকে, এটা হচ্ছে কি giving back hour. So that hour I contribute into volunteering. So this is my volunteering hours where I help people, whoever needs my help. um, so you should also create your own give back hours. The beauty of this is that when you give back, it comes back to you like a boomerang. Sometime in life, when you need something, you will keep getting things from unassuming places that you'll be surprised. So make sure you keep looking, not just for learning from others, but also giving to someone else. You all have something to offer, so make sure you do that. So again,
thank
thank you so much for having me.
thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day,
Thank you,
everyone. Bye
Bhai.
bye.
Day also.
Yeah, have a good day. Stay safe.
Bye bye.